So I just want to begin by saying that this is my first time behind the wheel of what is essentially one of my dream cars. One second. Hold up. So it's been a couple of days since I had the chance to drive the 991.2 GT3. And I very quickly realized that while I was driving the car, I was far too excited to actually review the car. I mean, take a look at this clip for an example. To destroy racetracks. It's extremely soft. I know my excitement is coming across on camera. I can't stop smiling, I'm sorry. You're gonna have to live with that. I got so carried away driving the car that I feel like I didn't really review it at all. So what I'm gonna do is come back and fill in the gaps if I feel there are any in the review. So let's play the review for now and I'll see you guys if I need to. Initial takeaway is the fact that this car is actually surprisingly comfortable. If you take into consideration what it was made to do, to destroy racetracks, you'd actually be pleasantly surprised getting into one of these things and realizing that it's not as hard. The suspension is actually surprisingly supple. And then there's the interior materials. I mean, the leather, the Alcantara steering wheel is a real standout, and the aluminum shift paddles. Because, I mean, Porsche understood that you'd constantly be in contact with the steering wheel. They made it feel as amazing as it possibly could. The steering itself is surprisingly communicated. Porsche purists had been concerned about Porsche getting rid of the hydraulic power steering rack in favor of the electric power steering rack. And I don't understand why, because, I mean, it's just extremely point and shoot. And I know I haven't done much in the way of shifting yet, but in comfort mode, the PDK is as it is in any other Porsche. It's just extremely soft, extremely smooth, extremely subtle. So let's put it in sport mode and see what the hell this is all about. And that was just 6,000 RPM. So the first thing I want to talk about is the sport mode in this car. Because the difference between the car in comfort and sport is not as big as in other cars. But the one area where you do feel it is the PDK gearbox. When it's in comfort mode, it's sort of very soft. It slurs the gears together almost. But when it's in sport mode, my goodness, the way it shifts up is just insane. What they've done is melded the single clutch drama with the double clutch efficiency. And that's really an amazing feat to me personally. So the engine then, the 4-liter flat 6, it revs to as near as makes no difference. Actually, no, it does rev to 9,000 RPM. So let's just see what 9,000 RPM is like. I know I'm not talking a lot, this experience in and of itself it's so surreal. Wow. I'm at a loss for words here because it really does live up to the expectation of this car being a race car designed for the streets. So Porsche's motorsport division has had a hand to play in the development of this vehicle, and every single aspect of it is indicative of that fact. First of all, the transmission is even faster than it is in the Boxster, even faster than it is in any other 911, any other configuration of the PDK that I have ever experienced does not even come close to this. And then there's the engine. I mean, first of all, the noise it makes. also wanted to elaborate on what I said about the engine, because that unit, that motor is second to none. First of all, there's the noise it made, which you guys are very well acquainted with. And secondly, it's the fact that the car makes only 500 horsepower, but that engine makes it feel like it makes around 1,000. You know, first of all, it's extremely torquey all throughout the rev range, all the way up to 9,000 RPM, which is the benefit of natural aspiration. And secondly, that engine is very race car in its characteristics. It revs very quickly, and that makes it a far more exciting unit to other engines on the market today. It really, really is a masterpiece of an engine. One of the greatest I have ever experienced in my life. You wouldn't expect a car like this to drive like a race car. The closest comparison I can draw to this in other cars that I have driven is the Aston Martin GT4 race car, the actual race car that I drove back in Yas Marina in Abu Dhabi. And I think this is even better still as an experience. Wow, I mean, just the engine is really the #1 takeaway for this car. That's just insane, bro. Wow. You know that saying, never meet your heroes because you will be disappointed? Well, I could not disagree more, because I have just met my automotive hero, and I can safely say that at this point in time, I am anything but disappointed. I think this is the greatest automotive experience I have ever had in my life. Without a shadow of a doubt, the best thing I have ever driven, the best car I have ever driven, the best car I have ever been near even. Just, are you hearing those noises? On the upshift, the snap, and then the way it revs up on the downshift, the quickness, the efficacy of the gearbox. I mean, this is game over. Where do you go from this? I think this might even be a better package than the GT3 RS, because it's comfortable to use on the road. And it's not any harder to drive than a standard 911, but at the same time, it's so much more fun than a standard 911. That's it. It doesn't get any better than this. So, all in all, what do I think of the 911 GT3? Well, as I said, this is it. This is game over. I mean, the feeling while I was driving the car is sort of inexplicable almost. Because yes, I was excited considering I was driving one of my dream cars. But you have to keep in consideration just how great the car was. Because I was speechless. Everything from the way it looks, to the way it sounds, to the way it handles, the way it... Even the seating position. Every little part about the car was so awesome that I was really left speechless. So, like I said, that never meet your heroes saying, it's bullshit. Always meet your heroes, because you will never be disappointed, especially if your hero is a 911 GT3. And if you're in the position to buy one, please, please do. I mean, I would sell any and everything I own in order to get myself behind the wheel of one of those cars. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Cars are out.